So I'm the Senior Manager for Service Planning, and I'm just going to give you a bit of a brief update about what's happening in the scheme at the moment. So there are now 263 participants in the scheme. There are more new participants now than came into the scheme in 2020. So we think that 2021 there'll be probably about the same number of participants that came into the scheme in 2019. Brain injury is still the largest participant group within the scheme, so it's really appropriate that someone like Steve is talking today about his participant journey. Some of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today, and that's the changes within the services team. There are three services teams now. There's the services team that most participants would have had contact with, the quality and safety team, as well as the specialist support team. Within the service planning team, there are 4 unique teams as well. That's the acute team, the transition team, and the living life team, as well as the participant support team. The participant support officers support participants across all 3 stages in their journey. And I wanted to talk to you a bit more today about how we're thinking about service delivery now that we've changed to those teams, and what that looks like in the context of a participant's experience. Essentially, those 3 teams are to reflect the participant's experience. So the acute team works with participants who are first coming into the scheme. Transition is that time once people have a couple of years post-injury and are starting to think about what life might look like. They've finished with their acute rehab, lots of the medical issues have been resolved, and the transition team works with participants at that particular time. The living life team is, as its name suggests, that's for participants who have experienced a number of changes in their life since their injury and are really back to living life. And this is how we're thinking about how we'll do that work. This is really busy, and it's intended to be busy, but I'm not going to talk to that yet. So we know that participants come into the scheme, or they come into a particular team and they leave the team or the scheme. But the real work with participants for service planners is what happens in the middle. It's what happens, how we plan with participants, how we listen, and how we do what matters to participants. So we're trying to think about different ways that we can make sure that participants' needs are met and that we don't leave any stone unturned to ensure that participants can lead full and active lives. So, as you can see, there are 6 areas that we're thinking about. The 6 domains encompass aspects of life that we all experience, and we want to make sure that we're looking at each aspect in a person's life post-injury. So physical health is about, just as it says, it's about medical treatment and rehabilitation. Mind and mood is exactly as it says. It's about, for people with a brain injury, it's about thinking and memory, but for other participants it might be about stress and mood post-injury. Relationships, that's about relationships that might be different post-injury, and it also might be about intimacy and other connection. Home and living, that can be about home modifications and accommodation. Meaning and purpose, what actually matters, how can we support you to get back to life and doing the things that matter to you. That can be about social identity, it can be about spirituality and about lots of other things too. Earning and learning, that's looking at returning to work or study or volunteering, some meaningful engagement in the community. So what we want to make sure is that we cover each one of those domains. And those domains might look different at different times during a person's journey. So for example, in the acute phase, it might actually be about physical health. It might be about mobility, about the real practicalities, about how do I get home, how do I access my bathroom, and how do I have a shower. But as time goes on, things might change. So it might actually become during the transition time about what matters to me and how can I start to get back to those things that matter to me. And in living life, it might actually be about I'm ready to go back to work, or I'd like to engage in volunteering. So the focus looks different, and what I wanted to show with that is that there are different times where we might only be focusing on a domain and it might just look like a slither, but then there are other times where that particular area might be a really big part of a participant's life. And so that's how we look at it. So people come into the team, we plan and we look at what matters in the domains. The service planner will work on particular work, and then the specialist support team might work on particular things like home modifications or particular equipment or wellbeing if that's an issue. So that's it from me. Thank you. We also really appreciate your feedback. So if you think that we're on the right track and we need to focus on things more deeply, or if you think that we're on the wrong track and we need to look at things in another way, please feel free to talk either with your service planner or their manager or with me. I'm really happy to have your feedback. It's what makes it a meaningful and engaging experience for you so that you get what it is that matters.